Hello and welcome to BQ Prime. A very good afternoon to all the viewers. I am Hiral Dadia. One segment that is in focus is the steel industry, and this is because of the kind of dumping and the imports that are increasing in the country. In fact, Jindal Stainless has sought government intervention to check the steel dumping in India. India's steel imports rose by almost 7.6% to 4.84 lakh metric tons, and this is in the month of June 2023 on a year-on-year basis. Let's understand as to how this would actually impact the industry and what the government would do to curb this. Joining us on the show is Mr. Rajamani Krishnamurti, President of Indian Stainless Steel Development Association, ISSDA. Good afternoon and welcome to the show, Mr. Krishnamurti.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Krishnamurti, my first question coming to you is how big a phenomena is this right now with regards to the dumping of stainless steel that is happening in the country? What is the import number actually indicating?
See, what happens is I'll just take you, when the CVD was first imposed, because in 2017, when there was a huge import coming from China there, so there was a due diligence followed by DGTR on a proper study and methodology, and they recommend duty on many series, not only one particular series. And this particular duty was CVD was on for 5 years, and this was imposed in 2017. And what happened is in 2021 January, the Ministry of Finance suspended this CBD duty without completing the 5 years tenure, which was earlier given by the DGTR. And again in September, 30th September 2021, they further extended the suspension till 31st January 2022. And on 1st February 2022, in the union budget, they revoked this CBD, which was there in China. So if I take you, when the duty was on, the import from China was merely 83,000, 84,000 tons annually. And once the duty got removed, in 2021, it touched 1,57,000. And then in 2020, 21-22, it touched 3,44,000. And in April to December 22, figure says 5.26 lakhs. That is 5,26,708 tons. So this is a phenomenal growth of 528%. And this has predominantly come on the 200 series, which is the utensils and kitchenware segment. And SAIL is one of the major losers for this. They have also submitted to Revenue Secretary and other Ministry of Steel also, saying that they lost almost 78% of their market share due to this. Now, one thing is, there is a myth about stainless steel industry. People see that it is only JSL who's the bigger player. No, it is not so, because MSME contributes almost 40% of the market share, and it is at par with JSL. If you compound the MSME production, it is at par with JSL almost. So they are the worst affected on this. So in India, there are almost 600 MSMEs, put together, both induction and re-rollers. They are spread across in Rajasthan, Gujarat, then Haryana and Delhi NCR, Wazirpur. And many of them have shut, almost 25% of this number has shut down now. And they are not operative. And whoever is operating, they are operating at less than 40% capacity installed. So this is a major jolt for them, and their profitability has come down drastically, and all of them are bleeding. And we have already, and these MSME put together, they provide an employment of almost 4 to 5 lakh people, and it's a labor intensive segment. And due to this 25% shutdown, almost 57 to 70,000 people lost their job in the meantime. And DGTR has recommended, saying that there is the injury on the 200 series, for which they have made a CBD recommendation of 20% from Ministry of Finance, which has not been done yet. And we don't know what was the reason for not doing it. despite all the data showing saying that it deserves a duty to be imposed.
Right. So, Mr. Krishnamurti, I mean, this gives us a lot of color in terms of what's happening. You did mention that it's majority the MSMEs that are hit. From the larger players, you do have a sale as well as a Jindal stainless which gets hit. But any other steel giants who get affected with this?
No, see, there are the entire stainless steel fraternity is hit because of the 200 series. But if you say per se, JSL, if you say their production is not that much because they are into a premium segment, they have diverted their product profile into a much larger and premium segment, which they are, if you see their balance sheet, it is very healthy as compared to SAIL and MSMEs. Because this MSMEs, they don't have any other product profile diversion because they only know how to make 200 series and they know how to make the utensils and kitchenware. So they don't have that kind of a technology or innovation that JSL has done in the stainless steel industry. So the has done it, but however, sale is not profitable in the other segments because their bread and butter is 200 series, and they have shifted their production to other segment where they are doing it, but they are not profitable.
Right. So, what's the differential between the imports versus the local production from a pricing perspective?
See, they are. If I take you, see, what we are asking is we are not asking for protection. There is a misunderstanding from the I made. This is my view because there is a myth saying that we have been asking for protection, which is not a protection. We are asking for a level playing field. Because if you have to compare a particular thing, it has to be apple to apple. You cannot compare apple and orange. So that is what our submission is. So what we are saying is, for stainless steel, it is always compared with carbon steel. Unfortunately, we take the brunt also because we had when the export duty was imposed on carbon steel, we also came into that brunt. And can you imagine a product which was predominantly designed for an export market? 85% of that production goes to export market. That attracted an export duty, unfortunately, and it got removed after 6 or 7 months. Unlike carbon steel manufacturers, the stainless steel manufacturers are very small in nature. They cannot withstand that kind of a loss in their balance sheet because predominantly their MSMEs are very small players, unlike but for JSL.
Right. No, so my question is currently, if what is the reason for someone to use imported steel versus domestic steel? I'm sure that is the major reason would be
See,
a price point, right?
there is a clear margin of 30%, which has been it's a predatory pricing which is China offering to them. Because the same product, if you buy it locally in China, it is much costlier to the local people than what they are exporting it to India. So it is the strategy of China right from the beginning, saying that I will do a predatory pricing and I'll kill that particular country's market so that I don't have the access for the domestic players. This is what has been, this is not new to anybody. And this has been the regular practice of China. Unfortunately, we are not taking cognizance of that. And that is the most unfortunate thing.
Right. So, is there a reason where the demand in China right now is suppressed, due to which they do have, surplus production, which they are dumping into countries like India at a lower
Yes.
price?
Yes, that is absolutely evident because the entire globe is down with recession and China is no different. The only country which is doing very well is India because of the market. And
So,
India is a sitting duck for everybody, and we don't have protection for remedies for our own industry.
no, so tell me one thing. If there is a possible revival in the Chinese demand, and that's what they're pointing out towards within, the macro numbers they're coming up with, is there a possibility that the steel prices then could increase and that could actually reduce the price differential, then in turn increasing the demand for domestic production?
No, I doubt because unlike India, China has got large amount of subsidies that is extended to the manufacturers. And China, whether there is a demand in China or whether there is no demand, irrespective of that, China's practice is a predatory pricing and killing a particular economy. And this has been the past history of China, and this is very much there in the DNA of China. So we cannot change that. So any demand increase in China is not going to give a much better breathing for our domestic players. So if I have to give you a particular example for the subsidies, the way they give it to the manufacturers there. For example, all the basic raw materials like scrap, they are imported from outside market, and China has got abundance of these raw materials. Now, for example, if we take scrap, if we have to import it from China, there is a 40% export duty. For example, in other words, what the Chinese manufacturers get at 100 rupees, if I have to procure it from China, I have to pay 140. So I am already 40% up on my competition for no rhyme or reason.
So,
and if you say, yeah.
I get your point. My other question to you on this is, if an anti-dumping duty is imposed, which are the companies, according to you, in the domestic market who could actually come ahead and oppose it?
See, only the importers, from the downstream industry, majority of all these downstream industries who have made a big in the utensils market and kitchenware segment, they have grown with the domestic industry consumption only, and they have become a brand after taking product from raw material from the domestic industry. Now, what they see is there is a 30% this thing is available. So I don't blame them, because as a businessman, they will do whatever is profitable to them. So the downstream industries, majority of them have opened a trading house, and they import and they supply to their own downstream industry, and they pocket this surplus which they earn out of this import. This is not going to the end customer. End customer has been paying the price which has been prevalent in the Indian market. So if you ask me that, the end customer, are they benefited out of this cheap imports? No, a big no, because end customers end up paying the same market price. So who is benefited out of this is the importers and the traders who are benefited out of this.
So overall, currently, what's the recommendation? How much duty is the recommendation? Because we've seen anti-dumping duty that has come in the past as well. I think in 2022 as well as 2018. Did that make a difference? And number two, how much is the recommendation right now?
See, there was a request for putting a CBD or anti-dumping on many series, multiple series of stainless steel grades, but the injury evidence was not quite witnessed at that particular time by the DGTR. So they witnessed only saying the 200 series is worst affected, which has an injury. So they have recommended only for the 200 series, which is predominantly the MSME segment. And they have recommended around 19.98%, around 20% duty from the report, which was published on 6th April 2023.
Right.
But unfortunately, that has not been implemented so far. And we also don't know what was the reason for not implementing it, because it's a prerogative of Ministry of Finance. But one thing is the data which is available from the commerce side, which shows a huge increase on the import side. If you cannot believe, 33% of the domestic demand is catered through Chinese imports alone.
Right. I think, and this is something which needs to be looked at as well. Thank you, Mr. Krishnamurti, so much for joining us on the show and giving us these views. So clearly, the imports have risen by almost 7.6% in the month of June on a year-on-year basis. Mainly, it's China which has been dumping, but apart from that, Japan, Vietnam, Saudi Arabia, Russia, Nepal, as well as USA are a few of the other countries as well, from where we are seeing stainless steel that is getting dumped into the country. In fact, China, the total imports have surged to 37% as a contribution versus a 26% on a year-on-year basis. That's all that we have for this session. Thanks for watching, and lots more lined up on the other side. Please stay tuned to Beaky Prime.